Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be the second painting video that I do for my new channel. We've got an 11 by 14 white canvas. We are going to do, our focal point is going to be a bird with some like background stuff. So before we get in, I just want to thank everybody, all the new subscribers for subscribing. I really appreciate it, guys. I did not ever think I would be doing YouTube videos. I started another channel, which is just Easel Does It Studio, where I figured I would just start some resin art and do some different things over there. And that channel is really doing well. But I wanted a dedicated channel for just my paintings. So that's what this channel is. So I'm not gonna just sit here and talk. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna turn the camera again so that hopefully you can see better of what I'm doing. Let's see, okay. And I'm just gonna start with some background colors. I am going to, of course, I pulled out everything but the colors that I wanted for my background. So hang on. Let me just grab some different blues. All right, so we'll do a mix of phthalo blue, primary blue, and some white. So, and I'm just using a paper plate today, guys, because you don't need anything fancy. And I'll get some phthalo blue, and we'll get some white. And this is just gonna give us our background color to start. And I'm just gonna use this small 1-inch brush. I did wet it a little bit. And I am going to mist my canvas just a little bit. You don't want it dripping, but this will just help the paint spread more, because acrylics dry faster than oil. So I'm gonna start with one of the blues, and I'm just going to start getting some on here. No particular, no nothing, just because we're gonna be lightening this up as we go. So I do wanna get my outside of my canvas done as I'm doing this step. And if you find your paint dries a little too fast for what you want, just lightly mist it with some more water. So now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna pick up the white. I'm not washing my brush, and I'm just making like little X strokes, just because we want, we just want some variation in our background. Because this is not going to be the focal point of our painting. It is going to be our bird, which I believe is going to be a cardinal, because I have not done a cardinal yet this year. And I'm gonna pick up some blue and some white on my brush this time. And I'm just making like small, just different marks. So you can really have fun at this point. So I'm just gonna mist it lightly, just so it doesn't dry on me. And I'm going to switch to a mop brush, and I'm just going to lightly just kind of get those brush strokes out. So you can just do like little swirls, and you want to do this while that paint is still wet. And then I'll just kind of wipe the tip of that off because we're going to use it again for the bottom half. And I'm overlapping. I'm bringing some of that dark up. Because as we get down to the bottom, we're going to start getting a little bit darker. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of white. Not a lot, just. And again, put a little bit over there. Just pick up some more blue. And you can just like scumble out some of that extra paint. And I'll go back, I'll pick up a little bit of the white. And I don't like to see my canvas through my painting. Some people like that look. I don't. I like it to be completely covered. So even if I have to put a second coat, I will. But I think we're good today. And just picking up a different color. And again, I'm just like trying to get a little bit more variation into this background. Because it's eventually it's going to work like there's something behind there, branches or whatever. So now I'm going to take my mop brush, and again, I'm going to start in the area that it was the drier area. And again, I'm just going to slowly, light pressure. You see how I'm holding my brush way back? If you hold it back, you will put less pressure when you're doing your swirls. Okay. All right, now I'm going to just rinse this brush off. So you can do this next step two different ways. You can completely dry your canvas, or you can just start putting, I want a few branches coming in. We are going to be putting in like pine needle branches today. And I love doing these. I haven't done them in, oh my gosh, a year maybe. Because I usually do those like on my Christmas videos, like Christmas paintings and stuff, but I didn't get around to doing any of those this year. So I'm going to pick up some burnt umber, which is a brown, and I'm going to do a little bit of lamp black because we want to darken our brown, and a little bit of raw sienna. And I know a lot of artists out there, they lay out all their colors that they're going to use. I don't, because I can start saying I'm going to do one thing and it ends up being something different, and I use totally different colors. So I'm an oddball painter. So, you know, you got to find what works for you. And this is what works for me. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the black and the brown, and I'm just going to make like a really dark brown. So I know, and you never want anything centered when you're doing a painting. You want to divide your canvas into thirds. So my focal point is going to be right here. This is where my bird is going to be. So I want my branch, my first branch is what I'm going to put in, and I'm just using an angled brush, and I'm going to just kind of get a branch in there. So I know that's where I want my bird to sit. And then we can bring in some like other branches. So you can use a liner brush, or you can use an angled brush. And I go back and forth. There's no rhyme or reason. So right now I'm just kind of just getting something in there that I know I want to frame the outsides of this painting. And then, I mean, we're gonna add all kinds of other stuff in there, but that's just kind of giving me a chance. So now this is pretty much dry. So I'm going to use a chalk pencil. I buy these on Amazon. It's a chalk pencil. You can use a regular piece of chalk as well. That's what I started with. But now, and I don't have my sharpener here, and this one's getting dull. So we're going to use a regular piece of chalk today. So birds are easy to make. You want to think of an egg shape. So our bird is going to be quite big because it's going to be the focal point. And the one good thing with chalk is if you don't like the way it looks, you can wipe it off. So I'm just going to start getting the body in. Kind of like that. And then we're going to do a smaller egg for the head. See, kind of like that. But then we're going to connect these. And I want his head a little bit more angled. Kind of like that. And then let's see. I'll start with that. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up red and black, and we're going to mix that together. We're going to make a really dark red for our cardinal. So I've already got some black. I'm just going to take a little bit of black and some red, and we're going to make a dark, dark shade of red. Because this is just our underneath color. And then we're just going to kind of fill this in. And you can go right over the chalk. And if you leave some of the chalk, that's fine, because you can wash that off after. And then you can also, you know, change your shape if you don't like it at this point. Right now, we're just getting the underpainting in. So that way I can start getting the branches coming out from behind the bird, but yet I know where he's going to be. All right, just gonna make up a little bit more of that dark red. And we're just gonna color that in, not a big deal. And you can actually even run the red over the edge of the outside of the canvas, and it will give the illusion that the bird's tail is wrapped around the canvas. Okay, so I'm just gonna wash and dry my brush, and we're gonna leave that to dry, and I'm gonna go in with my greens. So I have dark hooker's green right here, and we're gonna get some green on our palette, and so I'm gonna do hooker's green and a deep green permanent. And I'm gonna start with my bigger brush, my bigger angled brush. You can use any size you want. This one here is a 1 inch, and it's by Royal and Langnickel. These are really nice brushes. And I'm just gonna start with a little bit of paint on the edge, so you have a nice fine point. And let's see, I'll start with this one. So I'm just gonna follow my line that I made, and then I'm just going to start making little lines, going in every kind of direction, short ones, long ones. And if there's some gaps, don't worry about it, because we're going to probably put 2 to 3 more little layers over these. So I just loaded my brush again, and I'm going to start, and I'm just going to overlap some. And I mean, pine needles, they go in every direction. They're short, they're long. So those lines I put in are basically just kind of like a guide of where I wanted, you know, some of those branch things coming in. That's all. That's all that was. Just a guide to let me know that, yeah, okay, that's, I want something up there. Okay. I'm liking that. Now we're going to go and we're going to put some on this side. Same thing. I'm just going to start flicking out. So you can follow the line. You can just kind of go rogue. A lot of times I don't even put the lines in, but I know a few people that have subscribed are from my other channel, and they're just starting painting. So I wanted to make this beginner friendly. something that, you know, anybody can do. You know, and you just keep going until you're like, yeah, I like that. And then we'll go down and we'll put our other branch in. And again, we'll just start, we're going to cross over some of these. So sometimes it will help to have that line in just so you know, like, where's the center of your branch type of thing. Okay. So I like that up there. Now I want to get some, like, coming out around the bird. I want to do that now so that when I get ready to do the bird, I already know my needles are behind there. So I'm just going to, just with the corner of my brush, just kind of start getting where some of these would be coming out. And like I said, we're going to be putting a whole bunch of different colors over the top of this. So, and you, at this point, you can go over your bird a little bit because we're not finished with that bird. And that's why I put the bird in, so I would know where I want things kind of poking out from him, if that makes any sense. And the thing is you don't want them all the same length because they would all be different. And if they kind of look the same now, don't worry, because when we add the next two colors, that's where we can really, we're going to make them full and they're going to start looking round. And we're going to have some coming this way. Now I'm self-taught. Next month will be my 4th year of painting. And I started with acrylic for 2 years. And I'm starting my 2nd year in oil this year. So yeah, so anybody can do this. I'm telling you, anybody can do this. And then we're going to have a few down here, but then we're going to have some of the branches coming over the bird as well. So I just want to get the bulk of, you know, these branches in. So that, you know, we have a little something going on. And let's see. And it's just little kind of tappy strokes and pull. And if it helps, you can even go the other way. Just use the tip of the brush. And that will give you a little bit wider ones down towards the inner pine needle type of thing. And let's see, let's get one on the end here so we can start seeing what we got going on the end here. Now, sometimes it helps if you turn your canvas. So if you find that you're having a hard time doing different angles, just turn your canvas around. Okay. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space right now because I'm probably going to put a few pine cones in here too, in certain places. So let's, I'm just going to wipe my brush. I'm not going to wash it. I'm just going to wipe the extra off. And I'm going to pick up the other green, which is the lighter green. So we did the hooker's green. Now we're doing the deep permanent green. And again, it's just to give a variation in our greens. Just so that all the green is not just one color. So you just kind of just add some. Don't like take all the dark away, but just kind of, and then you can bring some other ones out a little higher. You know, it's just giving that illusion that there's something else, you know, that these are full. And just kind of, you know, in different directions. Longer, shorter, doesn't matter. And this is where you can really just have fun, get used to your brush, see what your different brushes will do. Because what works for me for a certain technique might not work for you. And we figured that out because my daughter, she has started painting since I had started doing a few paint classes and stuff. And some of the brushes and the techniques that I use, she struggles with. She can't get those techniques with that brush. So we, you know, we'll just sit there and she'll take a piece of paper and we'll just try different brushes and different amounts of paint and pressure and angles and see what, you know, works for her. Now that one was too the same, so I pulled some down. And let's get some in here. And I'm going right over. You know, some I might put a little bit more in, some I might put a little less in. So I'm really liking those two different variations. So now I'm going to pick up some yellow. And if you don't have a good dark green, use yellow and black and you can make your own green. It makes a really beautiful green. So I just wiped my brush and I'm going to pick up, I didn't wash it, I just wiped it. And now we're going to start just adding a few like little highlights. And this is, when I first started, this is where I struggled because I would overdo. I would add too much. So basically, you're using the tip of your brush on this just to kind of, you know, again, it's just getting a little bit of something else in there. But see how full those are starting to look now? And I'm just putting it on the very ends of my brush. And then I'm bringing some out even further. And then as this dries, it's going to dry darker. So we can work on the bird, and then we'll go back through and we'll highlight these again. And on that step, these pine needles will start really coming alive. So right now we're working over a very dark color. You know, and this one would probably be a little bit darker because like this one's being, you know, like shadowed from the bird, and this one too. But we still want to put that, you know, a little bit of color in there too. And see how I'm like almost doing a clock going over that center, so it doesn't make them look like they're just coming out of a stick. That's what you don't want. Okay. So I'm going to wash and dry this brush. And we're going to start trying to get our little features into our bird here. I did grab a liner brush. I did. Somewhere. Well, I thought I did. Let me just grab one real quick. Just a little round brush. And let me try this one. It might be too big, but I do have some new liner brushes that I just got, but I haven't tried them yet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wet this. And I'm going to take some of the red, and we're going to get our beak, because now I can rest my hand on my bird. So I'm going to put our little beak in, and we're just going to color that in that red right there. Excuse me. I'm just going to color that in with the red for now, just to get that in. And I'm going to wash that off, and I'm going to go into the black, and we're going to put his eye. Something like that. I'm just going to fill that in. It's going to be easier to make the eye come alive after. And now we've got to put, we got to give this bird a separation in his beak. And he has black coming around his little beak area here, and coming down under his chin. So I'm just making like little strokes just to get that like the shape that I want, I should say. I'm just kind of working out that you know, that it's almost like a triangle around their face. Just gonna outline his beak here so it will kind of stand out, because we're gonna highlight this black to give it texture and feathery look. And it does go close to his eye. And you want to go in the direction, like if you're doing feathers, you want to go in the direction that you think they would be growing out of, because that's going to just give your painting more realism. All right, so that's a good start. So now I'm going to mix up a little bit more of the black and the red, because we've got to put his dark feathery things on his head, right? Because they have this thingy on their head. So which way do I want his to go? Kind of, yeah, we're gonna kind of go back with them. And again, just start with, you know, a little bit of paint. Start small, work your way until you get the size that you want. You could also take your chalk and put it in if you know, if it worked better for you. All right, so I want that semi-solid, because we have to put our other colors over it to give that feathery look. All right, so now we've got to get a really dark spot in underneath where like his wing is gonna be. So I'm gonna take some black and some red, and I'm gonna make it even darker than the red that's on there. I just don't want to use straight black, but you want it really close. So if you're not sure, take your chalk and that's going to be one, and then his other wing is going to be like sticking out there. Yeah. Oh. See, this is why all my clothes have paint on them, guys. So I just want to get a nice dark area down there. Now see how it's already making that look like it's on top of the bottom? Painting is all about darks and lights. You got to make sure that your shadows are dark enough and your lights are light enough. And again, we don't want this to be a solid line because it is a shadow. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to stop there. I think down here it was going to be too much. And then you do want some dark underneath here in his little belly area. I just added some more, a little bit more red to that. And then you can just kind of merge those shadow and dark colors kind of together. And I could have used a bigger brush, but I think that's working okay. Now I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. And I'm going to use an angled one because we're making like feathery strokes. So I'm going to go back into just that plain red that we started with, before we darkened it. And I'm just going to start just leaving some of that dark to show through. We don't want to, you know, kill all of it. And then we're going to do the same thing on the head. And again, this is going to be in layers. And see how I'm just like lightly pulling, like on the face, I figure the feathers would be going down, but coming this way, they're going to start coming more this way and down. You know, and don't be afraid to kind of go over, you know, the outside of the bird because they're feathers. And again, we're going to be going over this with, and now this way, I'm starting to bring these feathers down. We're going to be going over that with another layer, so don't, this is just kind of getting our bulk color in. So I'm just kind of bringing those So I just kind of finished fixing the bird the way I thought, you know, that the shape needed to be fixed. And again, with just little tiny. But by getting that shadow already in there, we're having that darker area to help these show up better. Because if you mix white with the red, you're going to get pink. And we don't want our bird to be pink. We want him to be red. You know, and this might take 3 or 4 coats to kind of really get that look that you're looking for, or the brightness, I should say. So this one, I'm assuming that they would kind of be going like a a small C shape. And this is where you definitely want to have some go over where that line is, so that it gives the illusion of those feathers. Now see how I'm going right over that pine needle? And I'm going to go over some of the black, the darker color that we put in there. And now I'm just going to carry this out this way for his wing. But see how much darker that dries each layer? So I went right over it, I put another layer on this, and that kind of really popped that out, right? So we're going to go in with a lighter red here in a little bit. So let's get, let's kind of get him some feathers. And these ones I believe would be like kind of poking inward. But I do want to have it kind of look like there's, you know, not perfectly round type of thing. It's just all about layering and colors, guys. It's all in some of these areas we won't highlight when we come back with a lighter color. It's going to depend on how dark an area looks. All right, so let's start getting so I'm going to go up and do his thingy-dings again. And I might just add just a little bit of the black in with my red. And just kind of, let's see, I just want to kind of darken that up a little bit more in here. All right, now we've got to get some of that dark red and black down in our little tail here. And I'm just going to wipe my brush to get that out, and I'm going to pick up plain red, and we're just going to start making our little feathery and these ones would be longer because these are their long tail feathers. And again, when we go over these with the lighter color, that's going to pop out. I'm going to take a little bit of the black in the white now and make it so that it's not black, but it's not a complete gray, like a really dark charcoal gray. And, oh, and we're just going to start getting some more of this around his face. And that's kind of looking good. Okay. So while we let the bird, hang on here, I gotta blow my nose real quick. We're gonna let the bird dry, and we're gonna work on our branches again a little bit. I'm still gonna use the smaller line angled brush for this one. I am going to incorporate a little bit of this raw sienna, just to kind of give a little something, not a lot, but because when you see pine needles, they're not all green. There's always, you know, like a few dying ones or whatever. So when I do my pine needles, I like to put a little bit of another shade of like something in there. To me, it just gives it a little bit more realistic. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot. I don't know, I find this just kind of helps. So I am working on trying to get another angle set up where when I do these, you know, I can show my palette and stuff. So just bear with me while I'm in the process of resituating my studio here. But see how, I don't know, I just think that it just makes the painting so much better. You know, it's just, I don't know, gives a little bit more of that realistic something to it. You know, and some I might put more and others not. And remember that, you know, what color's going on is going to dry darker. So even though you think, oh, it's too bright, just give it a few minutes and it's going to darken. All right, so now we're going to pick up and we're going to make a really light green. So we're going to take the lighter of the two greens and the yellow, and we're going to make a really light green. You can even add a touch of white if you wanted it even lighter. And then just wipe the excess off. And then what I do is I go like that, and then I kind of push so that the tip has the most paint. And I'm going to start with these because this side is always more difficult for me. So I'm just going to just kind of, and again, you don't want to kill all the color. You want all of those different colors to shine through. So I'm just sporadically and if you know, if you see like there's a spot underneath that you feel should be more filled in, and add some of your paint. Oh, I just picked up some blue. That's fine. I'm just going to mix it in with that color, and it will just give us another color value. That's all. Just change that up a little bit. So, I mean, you could spend hours and hours on this. For this video, I'm gonna probably call this layer done, just so I can kind of keep it. We're at an hour already, so, and I still got to finish my bird, and I want to put in some, a couple of pine cones and show you how those work. So this is where now I'm bringing these pine needles back over the bird. So now that these pine needles are in front of the bird, so it kind of sets him back. Yeah. And put some down here. So I'm trying to get this channel to, I believe it's 200. Then I can start doing some live painting. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing and all that, I would appreciate it. So I will be doing a mixture of excuse me, acrylic and the oil. And I need a smidge more yellow. Now you could turn this into a snow scene by doing the same thing, but adding a white over the top. All right, so I'm thinking that's looking good. Let's get this brush washed. And I'm going to take my liner brush and just a dot of paint, so we can get his eye kind of back in there. And then I'm going to go right into the black, and then we're going to put his little eye in. So by adding that little bit of that like grayish white, it just helped his eye really stand out. And then I'm just going to darken underneath. I'm just trying to smooth my edges here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water on my brush. Because that will help that paint run or come off my brush easier, I should say, than and then I'm just putting another little now I usually do my cardinals on a much smaller scale, so I don't have to worry about the detail as much, but you know, I still try to go out of my comfort zone. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that black down underneath in his belly, because they do have some black in there, you know, in between their feathers. Okay, so I want to finish my stick here. So I'm going to take the raw sienna and the dark, and I'm going to put them both on my brush together. Make sure I get some of the darker one. There we go. And I'm just going to go over that line just like that. So having that lighter color just kind of like gave that branch a little bit of a highlight, and that's the only branch that we're going to see. Now I've got this liner brush. I'm going to take black and red, and I suck at doing their feet, so you're going to have to bear with me here. So I'm thinking one would come like this, and then over, and over. And do I put the other one this way? Yeah, I think so. Because I never know where to position them. That is my biggest. Okay. Now I'm going to put some black on the back side. All right, I think that looks a little bit better. All right, now we're gonna go in with the final red, the light red. And we are going to, as soon as I find a clear spot on my plate here, So we're going to use the liner brush on this one because we want little strokes. So we definitely want his wing to show up. So I'm going to go right to the edge, and we're going to put that first, and I'm doing like little C's. And then just keep building up our different layers. And let's put another little bit right here so we can set that pine needle back behind our bird, because it was kind of looking like it was coming in front, and I wanted that one in behind him. And then we're just gonna do the same thing over here, just kind of on the edges. Just kind of bring that in. And then in the middle, they're gonna be little short ones. And just keep doing your little strokes, and just always remember, don't take all the dark away. And now I'm gonna stop right about in there. This is gonna be obviously gonna be a little bit darker because it's underneath the bird, but we do want some of this really bright red kind of showing up on his tail, so it kind of comes to life and blends in with, but these are much longer strokes. So I'm going to take a little water and I'm just going to thin that red down so it will run a little bit smoother. There we go. And then if you stand back away from your painting and look at it, you can definitely see it better. All right, so I'm gonna wash this. I'm gonna pick up just a dot of white paint on the tip of the brush, and we are just going to put a sparkle in his eye so that the eye shows up. And I just... that eye just was too dark. It was not showing up for me. Not the way I wanted it to. So I just wiped my brush off and I just picked up some water. And I'm just going to start his eye again. All right, now I'm gonna pick up the black. There, that looks better. And now we're gonna put a dot right there, just so he has a little sparkle. We need a little bit of red. Actually, I'm gonna take red and yellow, and we're gonna make an orange for his beak, because their beaks are more orange than they are red. But we put the red in so that we had that dark undercolor, so that the orange would show. Yeah. And I need some red. I'm gonna do the dark red and the light red on his little little thingy things down here. And I'm gonna take some yellow with that red, and we're gonna make like an orange, and then we're gonna highlight his little toes. So I'm just going on the edge, leaving some of that dark to show through. And I gotta make up a little bit more. And this time I added just a smidge white in it. It might be too light, but we'll see. I just got water on my brush, and I'm just wiping some of that brightness off underneath so we can get that black to come back through, because I made it too wide. Just touch a little line of black. Yeah. All right. So now we are going to switch to our filbert brush. And I'm just going to add like 2 pine cones. So we're going to take our dark brown and our black, and we're going to make a dark brown. And hang on a second, I haven't done these in a while. Okay, so I'm gonna have like a stem right there, so, and we're just gonna tap. So this layer here is not important. You want your outside to be different. You don't want it all smooth. And then we're just going to color that in. We want this to be really dark. And let's see, we'll put another one here. And if you don't like his feet, then you can just put one of the pine cones over it. All right, now I'm gonna wash that off, and we're gonna pick up this light brown. And if you do both sides of your brush, then you can go a little bit further. So here's where we're gonna make sure that we leave some of that dark shining through. And even if your paint is wet, it's gonna actually look better. And now I'm gonna turn my brush because I'm running out of paint. And I'm gonna load it again, and we'll do this one. And you want to, you know, turn in different directions. There, now we have a couple of pine cones. So yeah. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna call this one done. My paint's still just drying too. And I think these are supposed to be more long, like that. But, you know, it is what it is. It's just kind of, I never did up here with the lighter color. I'm just now realizing that. So I'm just going to go in with that lighter red and but you can see each time that I go over this, it shows up more and more. So you can just, you know, keep playing with your colors until you get them, you know, the way that you want them to look. Just remember to leave some of that dark shining through, and just keep, you know, playing around with it. This is the fun part of the painting, where you can, and if you end up putting too much, let it dry and then go back with the dark and start over. It's that easy, guys. It really, really is. All right. I guess we are going to call it. I should do a little bit more through his face with some white, but I'm going to leave it for now. So I normally sign mine in the bottom right. Today I'm going to sign it over in the left, just because. And I'm going to sign it in the dark red, so I'm just going to take some of that and water it down a little bit. And I sign my initials, MCD, and then on the back, I put my full name and I name the painting. Now, I still have to paint this bottom, but, so I'm just gonna, And this one is 25. And I just put the year. So that way there I know what year it was made in. And there we have it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if you're going to try it. If you do, I can start a Facebook group. If you want to have a place where we can you can share your paintings with me, let me know, and I can gladly do that. Alrighty, guys, we will see you on the next one. Bye.